up, they wanna package this. Pray for peace, pacifist, I'm never old enough to give a
Potentially. I mean, hell, it really depends on, you know, if Zinx just decides to go ahead and tell himself, yes, I'm gonna absolutely decimate and crap on every single person in the server. It really depends, and that's obviously not to take away from the fact that every single one of the players on the Prodigy side has the potential to really step up and deliver impact, because we have seen that over the course of the last season as well, because that main core of riflers has remained relatively consistent, just with the op role sort of floating about and being taken up by different names here and there. And obviously that core roster, that 4 out of 5, they basically know it and have been playing with each other for a very long time. There isn't a single doubt in my mind as to their inability to really step up when the opportunity presents itself.
True. The op is going to be super dynamic on this map. And Zix, I haven't had the chance to actually rewatch the stream of the last match that the Prodigies had on Mirage, but if he dropped 30 in 24 rounds, that should tell you something, right?
Exactly, that should. I mean, it's not all that often that we see people actually hitting a dirty 30 in general, but to be able to do that in 24 rounds, you are basically averaging at least 1 kill per round. It is a ridiculous stat to have under your belt. And speaking of ridiculous stats, and I think this is something that we should also talk about, the Prodigy's opponents, obviously the K-Boys, you did mention about the fact that they've only got 2 matches played so far in this main season so far, but both of them have actually been on Inferno, rocking 1 win, 16-12, and 1 loss of 16-13. So on paper, a little bit more experience because of the fact they have played this twice up until right now versus the 1 map of Inferno that the Prodigies have played, but the mixed result doesn't really bode all too well for the K-Boys.
True. I mean, yes, they have played more Inferno than us, let's say, so far in the season, but Inferno is a pretty international map or standard map, so
it's the bread and butter.
Maybe they learned from their... Yeah, it is, definitely. Maybe they learned from their mistakes, let's say. But I'm really excited to see Zix. We already know what Mert was capable of on Inferno. We saw him when he got on that T side. The dynamic start, the fire start.
It was insane.
It was, indeed. And the Riflers, I'm excited to see, because on Inferno you can actually get everything from Riflers to the op.
Yeah. Well, we will obviously have the side of K-Boys start off on the CT side for the first half so far, and that technically means that we won't have to be teased and kept waiting to see the op potentially start to really find its potential and really start just appearing overall in the kill feed. Obviously, with the side of Prodigy starting off on the attack, on the T side, it does technically mean, at the very least, that they might already be starting off with a slight advantage, so to speak. If they, at the very least, get themselves that bomb plant in this opening round, then they can just continue to ramp up the pressure and potentially pick up a hat trick of rounds to immediately kick things off. Obviously, CT side can be very punishing more often than not.
Yeah, they can. And we have just started the match. FNK with a util, smoking a flash in a P250. A deep CT smoking into the 3 players for the Kazu store. Bois, flash coming in. Kazu with a duel. He gets the first headshot, looking for more. And he's going to get the second one as well. That's away from SVT, but Kazu is just running them down 1 by 1. FNK with a double trade. They actually have B-side. It's even.
I would have thought to myself that the moment that it was actually Cass right there picking up, how many was it? 3 kills in its entirety with the dualies? I could have thought to myself, like, damn, this boy's already caused so much damage to the point that we might have, you know, not been able to return from it anymore, but it's still a 2v2 converted into 2v1, courtesy of Nolan, and there's FNK lying in wait once again, putting those dualies to good use, but not quite outperforming Kass on that opener right there over towards Banana. It almost got lost after that engagement.
It almost was, like, ridiculous. And the stack was there for the K-Boys in B. 3 people, the flash, we can see the assist on the kill feed, right, Rapex. And Kass almost got the 4th, but FNK, that P250, he didn't buy 2 flashes. He wanted to go with a stronger pistol on that round, and it worked for them.
Indeed it did. So, they've got themselves Galils aplenty into AKs. We do see a bit of a force spot coming out from the K-Boys, and surprisingly enough, Not all too often do I actually see the Swag 7 enter the server, but two of them at the very least. Then it's Derpy to find a little bit of contact. Gets a buckshot spread dink onto FNK, sitting him all the way down to 37 as well.
Straight on. I agree with you completely. One Max 7 maybe, and in Inferno it's not so common. Not in any map, actually. When the CT is forged, the Max 7, Swag 7 has been long gone and forgotten. But two of them, it's really interesting because you can see we got Agent K on Apartments on A, and we just saw Derpy with his little jump shot that got FNK down to 37. Now,
look, I was gonna say I'm like a huge fan of the Swag 7 in general, but playing it solo, it is often a little bit of a death sentence because if you miss that first shot, you are basically a sitting duck. You got two Swag 7s, why not put them right next to each other? You could find a little bit more impact.
That's a lot of trouble if you're on the receiving end.
Oh yeah, exactly. You don't want to be eating that kind of lead for breakfast. And Derpy's already going to tuck himself further deep into the bomb site. And he's all on his lonesome, so should the Prodigies just decide to hit the go button, which is probably going to happen very soon given the fact there's 30 seconds left, Derpy is going to be in a living hell and nobody's close enough to respond and help him out.
I mean, if he gets one, that's pretty much it. Derpy with a Max 7, a lot of damage onto SBT. Unlucky. I mean, at this point, you just go next. There's no retake happening. Close.
Yeah. Super close. Derpy was about like he was literally about, what was it, 14 HP off of SBT's health bar from having himself like a proper Franz J moment right there and just going absolutely ham with the Swag 7. But every single piece of weaponry, including armor that has been invested to by the K-Boys, it will remain intact. Couple of, I don't necessarily want to say exit positions taken up, but do want to draw your attention to the minimap because what is Karo doing right here, my man? He doesn't have a kit to himself. Trying to get off like one of these simple ninja diffuses really isn't in the cards for this evening. So he's just gonna have to head back to CT, tail between his legs, let the bomb go off. But it is still 2 rounds in a row for the Prodigies, and they didn't even suffer a single casualty in this one. It was basically a flawless pickup.
Yeah, and it's really important. You mentioned at the beginning, 5 rifles, no MP, no Mac 10s or anything to farm cash. They sort of knew that the force buy was coming, and FNK was like, hey, no Mac 10s, no funny jokes, rifle, we full focus. We know what happened last time we played on Inferno. It was shaky. We barely managed to close it out. So let's go full force. And if Derpy got 1 kill there, the $900 kill bonus would be so important for him. He could have bought a deal or something else, but he has to sit on the USP.
He does have a nade in his back pocket, so at the very most, he might be able to deal about like 50 points of damage. Cass finds and takes a boatload of damage right there, setting him back all the way down to a quarter of HP. The scout doesn't even tag anyone on the side of the Prodigies, so they basically get away scot-free, entirely unscathed. We've seen how bad the struggle was for the Prodigies with their banana takes and their banana holds earlier last week. And judging by the fact that there is a very, very heavy CT presence over towards that banana side, we obviously know it. We have the silhouettes. The Prodigies don't, but their intuition of not willing to really set foot on that side of the map, respectful, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they dodged the bullet. Last time it was only 1 player, jackpot. This time there's only 1 player on A. A good start for them, good read. The stack on B, we have Cass on CD with the scout, but he gets smoked off. It's all down to Refrag with that 5.7 in armor. And hit long range, I don't know what he's going to find. Let's see. First one. Gets the free kill into SBT. Second one, no. Going to get traded by Nolan. A sighting control for the Prodigies.
Yeah. Entirely corrupted, and the bomb is going to go down entirely for free as well. And this is, well, obviously at this certain stage, I think the K-Boys, they really do have to try to get some kind of retake going because it's always a really sucky feeling if you're carrying in a scout as well as a Mag 7 into round number 3 by the time that you should have technically had enough money for A1Ss. Like, it's a really, really sucky feeling having to stave off and try to play for exits without going for it. But it does seem as if that's exactly what the plan is going to be. Wait for the Prodigies to walk right into your line of sight, and there's a fat dink coming out. Agent is going to take down Nolan. FNK lit up, so he's going to go bye-bye to the bomb. I think everyone on the side of Prodigies is going to die this bomb.
The nade from Kuro, or Derpy. Yeah, Derpy was the one that threw it. I mean, FNK got low HP, but the follow-up nade, that's a lot of damage in the economy.
Quite a bit. I didn't even catch up on that, to be fair. Good that you pointed it out.
Yeah, like he knew he was going to die anyway from the bomb. They will have full buy as they do right now, so it was a really great play from the Kazu store boys. And this round we're actually going to have the comps.
Flash we explode, and you wait a little bit for the long guys to be closer, and then you fight swelling short.
Yeah, GG.
I just
my
molly.
Go slowly. Come double peek with me on mid.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Okay, one long.
Nice, it's perfect. We
Perfect.
go through. I'll flash in front of you. Turn around, okay?
Flash.
Yep.
Flash in front of you. Boom.
Long
Full
window.
blind, I'm full blind.
Should be arch.
Arch.
Molly short.
Smoking, smoking.
He
Fight.
flashed.
Smoke.
Arch, long. Arch, wait, arch. White. Out long, I think.
Taking long.
Now he fell back.
Let's see.
I smoke of library.
He put that. No,
Pit,
he's
pit,
pit. He's pit.
Det var selfien.
We're back with the casting because we saw that round did not work out quite well for the Prodigies. We got Zix alone saving. We heard the call from the in-game leader. I mean, they can pull a buy next round. And one thing that, well, let's continue for this round because Zix is actually really close to Derpy with his towel in his hand. It's not going to end well. Ooh, the BN. Nasty.
Derpy's starting to feel it a little bit. Obviously, wasn't the toughest round for him to pick up with just that one exit, but either way, it is the K-Boys making themselves known on Inferno after that fourth round right there. Things not necessarily going, well, technically according to plan for the Prodigies, but that is sometimes just the way that the cookie crumbles, especially when the CTs can finally buy up and when they finally actually have a little bit of grit to their bite right there. So we will have Cass still rocking that same AWP that he brought over from the very previous round, and he will utilize it to find the head of FNK to start things off.
Yep, the first round for the K-Boys, and we can see their arsenal is pretty powerful if you ask me. 3 AKs on the CD side, and the op who's not missing. He even expected, what a flick onto 6. I didn't even see where that kill went, but Refrag with the AK agent on the other side gets the kill onto Straxy on B. It's all down to SBT, Tech9 in a dream against 5 players.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. No siree. 24 HP to his name right here. You can hope and dream all you want, but you are not gonna get a lot of progress done, especially with the flank coming over towards that second mid-bridge side. Karo actually didn't spot him out. Okay, so maybe SBT's regained the element of stealth and surprise.
Ooh. But still, he has no options. I don't know if you noticed, he did the perfect jump from balcony without a sound at the bottom. That's really impressive. I mean, yeah, but Nico just style points, even if you don't get any kills, that's style points for SBT. Because Kazu store boys have got it in pack. The second round, and a flawless one in this. The economy is looking good for them.
Yeah, and it really was all made possible due to Cass with that primary opener right over there and then immediately falling back. It was such a great shot with like so few pixels that you could actually click on. I think he had about like half of FNK's head to work with, and then he just fades away. And as the pop flash came on through, because the Prodigies obviously did want to take long control and put that AWP out of commission, he gets an extra and then still manages to get the molly off before falling all the way back towards that Arch's side. A gorgeous round coming up from Cass, and he is sitting at the top of the server with 8 kills to his name so far, but he's going to have to exert a little bit of patience because nobody's on the receiving end of that AWP. But as I say that, heavy stack over towards the ramp side, and it's all gone horribly wrong. Straxy, the first casualty.
Well played by the K-Boys. I mean, the AWP was constantly on long, and this time the element of surprise on B. I like the top banana smoke from the Prodigies, but the boost, they did not expect it. And Straxy goes down early round. We got Zix on the AWP, though. We haven't seen him previously. Let's see what he's cooking.
Rocking a donut, rocking a little bit of a goose egg, and if there's ever a time to get some kills, well, I can't think of no better time than the present, to be fair, for Zix right now. FNK looking to exert a little bit of presence on that banana side. There is currently still a smoke up. You will fish that out, a little bit of intel, and have to wait for it to dissipate. And we do also have the K-Boys rotating and sending Karo back over towards B to properly reinforce Derpy. And it does seem as if this lineup, with 35 seconds left, the Prodigies, they're going to fully commit to this.
I mean, they don't have time. You just mentioned 30 seconds on the clock. Carvo taking first contact, and he's going to try to help. The molly comes out from Derpy. He's full util, 2-door, smoke, nade, and a flash. He's going to win so much time, but the rotations are not coming from the Kazu Store boys. Still, two players, strong. Flashes are good. One way from Derpy. He's down to 9 HP. He gets the first kill on the FNK as we feel the trade, but they still haven't got that bomb down.
And here comes the cavalry. Cass, ooh, good find as the smoke started to fade away at the very last moment. And this is a 2v4 post plant that the Prodigies have got to somehow hold on to. Zix, with a long angle over towards Coffin, knows there's somebody on the opposite end. Karo, yet to reveal himself. Flashbang comes on in. SPT's retinas are burning. Zix with good coverage right there, but SPT's been found out. And it's Zix to get one more kill as he tries to fade away, but Cass once again got his number right there. It is him and Agent to close things off as they tie up the scoreline. We're 3 apiece.
All equalized. Zix, a double kill. Is that a glimpse of him opping? I mean, the reactions were good. The positioning, the flash was really, really great. I mean, Zix gets the kill onto Refrag because he already was holding that angle, but they were both full blind. Well played on that B hole. Derpy with full utility to that last second, really important.
And at the exact same time, also, despite the fact that we finally saw what Zix is actually capable of, with that AWP, we got an even larger glimpse as to what Cass is capable of picking up 3 kills. That is Derpy simply being being bombarded as well with the spew of HEs. Each and every single one of those frag grenades had his name written on it, bro. I feel bad for him.
Unlucky for Derpy. I mean, that's payback from the Molly last round and all the util that he used. But yeah, Cass has been putting up numbers in the board, man. 11 kills. He's been performing really, really great. Prodigies, entry onto B. And back to this pit side, and the nades are coming again. Cass is going to get the kill, but the trade is immediate by SPT. The AK on the agent, the first one, and the second onto Zix. Drops down to pit. Gets eliminated finally, but Refrag is here on time to collect the last 2. And Kazu Store boys, 1 up. Even
though it is a round win for the CT side, you have to admit to yourself that it's still, at the end of the day, a really, really good outcome for the Prodigies. Being able to literally strip away 3 rifles, including the AWP from the K-Boys right there, it is going to force out quite a heavy reinvestment. So slowly by slowly, they're going to whittle away at the K-Boys' economy with each and every single one of these rounds. And also, farming 3 extra kills with the Tech 9s does translate to a little bit of extra cash in your back pocket, so everyone is going to be absolutely geared to the tooth. And let's see exactly how they handle this with some team comms.
Nice. We can let's throw 2 smokes in B.
One more is B, we flashed them, is Rafex.
Try to take up a timing in Eps.
Yeah, but I'm late, I was holding from far.
B is clear, you can come B.
Yep. It's clear.
Smoked B.
His side.
His side now, don't... Never mind. Let's go back to A, yeah.
Push depths dead.
Nice.
Nice. Only one on A. We can go together on A. Yeah. I'm gonna smoke Moto. Can you smoke long Zix and we can go together short?
Just smoke the depths.
I'm just gonna bounce it.
I'm only pit. Side. I have him, wait.
Yeah. He's boiler.
That was B then.
They took Molly.
Nice,
Nice.
Top short.
Bro, guys, I'm tripping.
Nice one,
I don't know. I
boys.
heard him on side, but I told you on short. Like, sorry, guys.
No problem.
Win this and
Drop
they
your
have
flash.
probably.
Well, that was quite the round being
Yeah.
dished out from the Prodigies. It started off very, very chaotically, and then the chaos just ramped because of the fact that they weren't able to, well, you know, go through the checklist, do their due diligence, and actually, well, clear out Cass from that boiler side. He was able to actually give the K-Boys a winning shot in that round, but Nolan to close it off as well right there. Props to him, and they're going to keep this matchup super competitive. 4 rounds apiece as Kazu with the big green. Well, he doesn't find the first draw of blood. That's going to be Derpy with an HE instead.
Yeah, I mean, the Molly did so much damage. I think an FK quick switched before the smoke actually managed to throw it, so he lost like some HP on the way, and the nade was the finisher. Entry for the Kazu store, boys. We saw the Prodigies fight Banana last time, and they won the duels 4v3. Straxy gave that trade away, but this time it's not looking easy, and we got SVT down to 49.
Indeed we do. They're contemplating whether or not they want to commit to that B side yet again, or maybe if A is starting to look a bit more vulnerable. No kind of presence over towards Boiler, but they've got someone to worry about over towards the app's balcony at the very least, and you can see that the K-Boys playing this very conservatively, not willing to overstep even slightly. But Karo's actually moved up over towards the half wall, and he's willing to actually meet the Prodigies halfway right here.
Wow, the smoke is such a great bait. He definitely gets here more than at least one. Straxy goes down, the jump, a lot of information. The off can't do the trade there. He needs a rifle. Nolan gets it, but still, again, damage. SVT with a lurk. He's heard the steps, and he's calling for backup for rotations. 25 seconds, but we still got Agent on Boiler. Is the same thing going to happen again for the Prodigies?
Maybe. He might be able to catch a couple of these CTs off guard, and there's no way that Cass gets that as well. And it's Agent to shut it down from the terrace side as they try to ingress over towards short. What a hold coming out from the K-Boys, but it almost went horribly, horribly wrong as well. If it wasn't for Cass getting that super hot flick over towards SBT, then that could have easily been a T round right there.
Damn. Cass, man. I checked the previous matches. He's been putting numbers a lot. The positioning, great from Agent. So close yet so far, but you mentioned the flick, gave them that edge, and then just chaos onto the Prodigies. I mean, let's admit it, K-Boys, they're on the driving seat. No
They
doubt.
fully are. They fully are. I don't exactly remember what the win percentage is in terms of CT and T spread. I think it's still hovering at a rather even 50-50. But the last time that I checked was like a couple of weeks back. And if that's anything to go by, then the matchup that we're seeing right in front of our eyes, it is basically just respecting tradition. 5-4 with the current score line. The Prodigies looking to eco the hell out of them. And that's Nolan magnetizing a D shot to the head of Kass. That is the impact frag that you want. If you want to get anyone off of the playing field, it is Kass that you want to wave goodbye to first.
Yeah, the first missed shot, and he gets the leader from the server, but the team is there to pick up the slack. Aggressive B play gets them that equalizer 4-4, and we just saw what happened on A. Limited options from the Prodigy side, and the op has been removed from Refrag's. They can't get to it. But still, a couple of Eagles, a scout on FNK, and trying to go into the safe side. If they get the kill onto Pit, at least bomb down secured. That should mean something. But Agent gets the headers onto Ziggs, looking for the last two. On shore, 35 seconds. The help from Refrag, and it's just FNK. Another tag onto Kara, but needs the next one. Nah.
Sadly, not going to happen right there for the Prodigies and the K-Boys for the first time to actually start to slowly but surely pull away with this particular matchup, starting to extend their lead all the way by 2 rounds. That's the current gap that the Prodigies need to close off. An eco loss does mean that they can reinvest this into some weapons right here. AKs and AWPs aplenty. Let's go ahead and listen into the Prodigies and see what they think of things.
I'll do fast util.
Yeah, you do. Hi, Mariboya.
I don't see mid.
They
Take
one
cover.
way on B. Yeah, one way on B.
Sure.
Can you flash one above me? To left?
Yes. Flashing.
Apps close, apps close.
Oh.
I took mid.
I don't see anyone though.
I took
I do
mid,
second
guys.
step.
They're in
Straxy,
ups,
try
they're
to
in
go
ups.
with
Good.
Nolan on long
Yeah.
and try to do mid B.
Flashing.
Tiger short. Keep holding
Long.
B, Ziggs.
There is retake nades on B.
Yeah.
Corner.
He's Arch. He's Jesus. Jesus. He's
Yeah.
right side.
Try to split B.
He's right side. 100%. Holding from right side. 6. Swinging.
One fade.
Dead.
Nice. Can just
Molly
pick B.
sandbags.
One over the other guys.
He's
Yeah,
rotate.
close.
Pushing.
Reflex is
We're
rotate.
running city.
Top sleeper.
I'm
Killer
flashing
boost.
Molly
roots.
does.
Flashing roots. Flashing there.
One in B, he mollied us.
There
One
is.
inside.
Dead.
Dead.
Nice.
Careful, one more
banana.
maybe.
Banana.
I have one more flash. Second and first clear.
Remember
Triple,
that.
triple half. He's swinging left.
Coming to help you soon.
Nice,
Nice.
nice.
I'm put banana.
Banana now, of course.
What? One banana.
Banana.
How many?
He
One.
peeking already.
Two maybe.
Four.
No.
Finally, man.
Let's go, boys. Nice round.
Boys, listen, we need to abuse always that mid B.
Wow, that was quite the round that the Prodigies were able to send out right there. And the one thing that I do want to touch on is just how crystal clear the comms were when it came to dealing with that player inside of CT. They knew exactly where Rafix was. They had his number. You could hear the calls. He's Jesus to the right 100%. And sure, the opening couple of shots didn't exactly go their way, but they were still able to clean up that CT presence and then just absolutely send it all the way to B. And also, what an absolute 1v2 being, well, just laid down in front of us by Straxy right there. I think he actually took an op shot to the bullet, but it went through the wall, and he was left on 50 HP. If that op shot would have made full torso contact, it would have been another K-Boys round.
Yeah, I mean, I want to touch onto that. The jiggle picks, the constant AD moving is so important that not a lot of people use. So here's a tip from the stream. If you're ever holding an angle, it's great for the AD and FNK. Aggressive on B, the nade follow up. The op is going to go down to 7 HP. Combined with the molly, but Cass got the trade.
Yeah, Cass looking a little bit medium rare right now, not exactly burned to a crisp after eating both a nade and then a Molotov on top of that. 7 HP with an AWP, well, I think that is just about the classic op experience. Sometimes just exactly how it goes, but either way, the Prodigy still with the weapon advantage. They're going to lose out on another rifle. There's Agent putting that Swag 7 to good use as Rafix charges on in, finds one with the CZ as Caro keeping things neat and tidy. He finds one, not necessarily second. That's going to be left up to Agent to clean up, but the Prodigies, unfortunately enough, they couldn't quite get the K-Boys on a leash, and they had the weapon disadvantage as well.
And they're lost. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I mean, the confusion with the op, yes, they got that entry, but they need the second one, they need the trade, and the Max 7. We mentioned it, we don't see it a lot, and it's not just us, the players as well, they don't expect to be at that range, and we saw the one-way come in, and the Max 7 just rushing, he knows he has that close-range duel, and 10 out of 10 times he wins it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. From what we have seen so far in the CT half from the K-Boys, it has been one of the most unpredictable styles of CS that I've seen so far. Like, it's one thing to obviously play over towards that Apps balcony side because that's just usually standard, but to swing it after having a smoke land at your feet with the Max 7, it's ridiculous. 2 rounds ago, or it must have actually been even 3 rounds ago, we had Cass as well as somebody else charging through Apps looking for an entry over towards our ultimate. Like, this style of CT play, it is absolutely whack. But this T style of play right here, it's starting to work out for the Prodigies. Cass, 2 missed shots, finally makes the third one connect right there, finds the head of FNK. And after all of the bodies that K-Boys have stacked so far, 2 casualties, no rifles to be recovered on the side of the Prodigy, so they still have to use these pistols to clench out these last 30 seconds. There's the Deagle, it finds contact, but the MP9 of Derpy just mows through both Nolan and Straxy, and he's trying to charge down the last player. Derpy in the nick of time gets the job done. Defuse as well with the cherry on top as we have the K-Boys outright winning the half by finding 8 rounds.
Yeah, good retake. I mean, still, it was a good round for the Prodigies. You mentioned it, they couldn't grab a weapon after those kills. Unfortunate, we even saw a smoke right here on this, but unlucky still. 4 kills, a bomb plant, you got close to winning a round this time. And you have to win these last 2 rounds. It's not looking great.
Yeah. And you could actually see there was one AK that was sort of like right next to the bomb site, right next to some of the crates, and we had a couple of the guys on the side of Prodigy just kind of like walk around that weapon and not pick it up. Maybe, you know, these kinds of mistakes that happen, especially when you're sort of like in the heat of the moment and you don't really have time to, you know, fully put on your logic cap and process things as they should be super objectively. It happens in every single FPS game. But we obviously have 2 rounds left over. A 10-5 split could very well be on the cards, or the Prodigies could start to bring this back. We're going to go ahead and throw it to Team Comms to see how FNK is going to lead them to victory.
Hey, like, if we are too late to react, just cancel, boys. Don't.
Giganti.
I don't see him long.
My smoke failed because they're molly.
Ready? 3,
Wanna see
2,
anyone picking?
1.
Long.
Close.
Please.
I think he's
Smoke,
on.
smoke,
Nice.
No, go long.
Can you
Let's go
wrap?
long
Can we
together
wrap?
fast. Yeah,
He's
Please
rotated
touch.
there.
I smoke library.
I'll stay short then.
2 more in
Yeah.
it.
I flash graveyard, go guys.
Headshot, headshot.
Flashing graveyard again.
Please side or somewhere.
Watch out, graveyard, please. Graveyard clear. Maybe
Yeah.
pit.
They were 3B. They were 3B. I'm all in up.
That's you too.
Oh, mini.
I'm holding long.
Good job. Good round.
Go short.
Maybe they save for last. I don't know.
Job. Bro, the smoke hit you and it glitched.
For sure they will save for last. We have no money next.
I'm not HP, I have to go second mid. You cheated plant.
They're saving up as well.
You can hunt one of you. I'm gonna hunt. You have money to drop me SPT if I die.
I have to save second mid. Maybe I die.
Yeah, it's okay.
Flash. That's off Hamas.
Jampe.
People
Okay.
up.
How is jump in Swedish?
Hoppa.
What?
Hoppa. Good job. Nice one.
Hoppa. Hoppa.
They will not go 3B again, I guess.
Let's double nade car SPT.
I don't know about you, but I just love the way that FNK just thinks about these matches. At the very end, you might have missed out on that, but he just said, like, boys, I'm going to go ahead and hunt for a couple of kills, and if I die, it's your responsibility to buy me back up. That is absolute a Chad mentality coming out from FNK.
Yeah, and it was really on point because they had some cash in the bank. But let's see if the double nades come. We just heard them. The call.
Wow.
FNK wants to fight Banana, and with a good reason. I mean, it has been a key point for the Kazu boys.
Even though we saw quite a bit of like util exchanges go there with a nade stack, it is safe to say that Kazu store boys, they won out in that exchange of frag grenades because they only took 3 points of damage, whereas SBT is on 99 and we've got FNK on 96. That is 5 versus 3 points of damage. Who won? Well, the K boys. I rest my case.
Quick maths.
Yeah.
+2 is 4, etc. But we got the flash coming in. Derpy is ready. He's waiting for contact from Cass on CT, but the Prodigies are hitting mid. We heard earlier on the voice comm that FNK wants to abuse this mid to B, and I think it's going to happen this round. He's looking there, waiting for the push, and he goes down by Derpy. Real important kill.
Yeah, really important kill because now that mid to B doesn't really seem as appealing and attractive as it once did. Obviously, in the very previous round, they just wrapped in through long and hit the A bomb site after clearing out that small pit. But now, obviously, somebody has to take up FNK's post and reassert some banana pressure. That's bomb going down as well. Cass, he can hold on to this, but he just takes and eats a bullet from the big green to the head right there. Caro keeps it neat and tidy from inside a church, attesting for his sins as he finds 2. Nolan's down the dirt as well. And it's all down to Zix. Last week's MVP in the very last round. 15 seconds left to find 3 kills miraculously somehow. But he's got his back turned to Derpy right there. And he's going to clean things up. So there you have it, K-Boys. They take the half 9-6 right there. But still, the Prodigies, they were super duper close from picking up a 7th.
Yeah, they were, and they needed that 7 so bad to door. I mean, looking at how the first half went, yes, it was a 3-0 start. You won the pistol, and you converted after that. But let's see. We're going to go on a short break and see if the Prodigies are going to come back on the CD side.
Well, it's been quite the opening half on Inferno. 9-6 is your current scoreline. And I've got to say, I'm quite impressed with what the K-Boys were able to accomplish right over there. They showed a lot of really, really good initiative, a lot of creative, and a lot of very unexpected plays so far. But obviously, now things are going to start to get a little bit more antsy, a little bit more curious, because they're going to be giving the T side for a spin, and we're obviously very, very accustomed with just how impactful the Prodigy's own CT side can be. We had our reservations about their performance last week, but now that they had the chance to go and look back through the demos, correct their mistakes, it does at the very least pave the road for what could potentially be a very convincing CT side for the Prodigies.
I mean, is Zix going to be able to do what Kaz did? We
Maybe.
only time can say that. I don't
Mhm.
know. We got an AFK here. Straxy, is everything okay? I mean,
This-
they're not out of spawn yet.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. This is something that I just saw a little bit earlier in the stream, where they've only got one player on each of the two bomb sites. When they hear footsteps, the rest of the
Yeah,
CT
smart.
players, they just come and support on in. And you can see it's already starting to work out quite well for the Prodigies, but it's Agent to immediately deal back 2 kills right there. Then here comes Zix with one of his own. It's Agent. He can't even get the bomb down right here, and he's on desperately low HP. He's not gonna be cleaned up. Eventually, SBT comes to chime in, and he's the last player alive, struggling to find the headshot right there. It's Derpy with his Glock out to get it done.
A really smart play on the CT side that you mentioned, 1 on B and 1 on A to get info, and they have the information. They were constantly fighting on that A side, not letting the bomb go down, but Agent, he really fought hard. 4 kills, 4 headshots, help finally came in, and SBT couldn't clutch for that pistol. They lose a second pistol round, and it's going to be tougher and tougher from now on. We mentioned 9-6 on the first half. They needed this pistol.
I
It's
mean,
not
on
looking
top,
good.
aside from the fact that we have the K-Boys already sitting on double digits with 10 rounds to their name, because of the fact that they outright won, and I think they also got the bomb plant towards the very, very end in the last couple seconds of exit, that's still a bit of extra cash in their back pocket as well, so they can basically go absolutely crazy with the armory that they want to take up. And 4 MAC-10s plus an AK kind of feels a wee bit crazy instead of seeing a couple of Galils sprinkled in there. But the Prodigies fully forcing up 1 SMG and the Scout as well over towards mid. Zix, narrowly inches away from finding someone's head.
4 full armors on the Prodigy side, so they're prepared for these SMGs. I mean, Zix, obviously, he can't afford it. He has a Scout, took a shot, didn't find it. Bois got banana control. Coming back for that mid. They can't just rely on one territory. We can see the bomb is still on the ramp. And the Prodigies. The force buy is present, but if they don't get this, Kazu are going to have double as much rounds as the Prodigies have.
Yeah. And there's Agent drawing first blood onto SBT as well. Luckily enough for him, well, there's obviously still 2 more players on the Prodigies over towards that B-bomb side, and surprisingly enough, the K-Boys have actually decided to drop all of their laurels over towards A and fully commit to what could potentially be a B-side execution. They might be expecting one more lingering CT still on this B-bomb side, but the fact that there are 2 does potentially shake things up a little bit over here. Util Dump coming on through, FNK seeing if he can do his best impersonation of Lara Croft. It's messy, but he gets it done with the first, but no. Unfortunately enough, Nolan couldn't really put that 5-7 to work. Sure, they have lit up a whole bunch of players, and Straxy could definitely clean them up, but ultimately the B-hole doesn't pan out.
Nope, and I mean, they were ready for that. We had FNK a smoke in the flash, but he did not want to use that. Maybe he thought it's the first set of utility, a second one is going to come later, there was still time on the clock, but no. They commit onto that B side, they find the entries, and as you mentioned, a lot of damage done, but they needed the kills, they needed this round.
Yeah, and there's no way for them to potentially, like, go through the combat log or open up the console and see exactly how lit up these players are, because, like, if this was a regular ranked matchup, the first thing that I would literally do is just, like, ask my teammates how lit up they are, and then just go farming them with my Deagle, because I'm pretty sure everybody is exactly, like, a single body shot from the Deagle away of death right there. But, nah, sadly, K-Boys, they're going to keep the majority of their round number 17 investment intact so far, and with Prodigies committing to that forced buy, doesn't mean they're economically stable to bring out the rifles.
No, definitely not. They have to go on an eco. Yes, they have the Eagle saved up by Straxy, smoking a flash. They will invest into a couple of pistols upgraded, but ultimately, an eco. Actually, a full eco. Okay, I respect that. More than enough, because you need every single utility coming into that first gun round in the second half.
Yeah. Not exactly a gamble stack going on over towards the A, but it is heavily staffed up over towards that split side with 4 bodies. And FNK, sooner rather than later, is going to realize that he is on an island all by himself. The moment that somebody decides to break through that smoke, FNK is going to be in a world of hurt. But the K-boys, they do find a little bit of contact over towards that top mid side, not exactly willing to chase down the Prodigies because they don't exactly know if there's 1 body, 2 bodies, or all 4 of them up here. Refrag, sprays 2 down. Somehow gets away with it, and Karo's going to join in on the fun as well with the MAC-10.
Yep, and they're chasing them. They know they got 3 kills. They know that this was an A stack with a flash from SVT, but it was not enough. Unlucky timing. SMG shining through. It's just 2 players remaining, but not for long. The Kazu store boys are going to secure their 12th round.
Yeah.
Now, the next one is going to be really important. And how important? We can actually hear the team comes from the Prodigies.
Molly close and smoke deep. I'll molly.
I can
deep.
flash T stairs if you want to pick from short 6.
Or actually, you just molly close, okay? I will
No need
smoke
to
deep.
boost, you're not forced.
Ja, just det.
So you like.
Har vi call, okay?
When you want.
Smoke.
Flash.
Flashing.
Molly clear.
Block B alone. Let's stay wood.
On white.
Close mid.
They do it.
I did molly. Run a
I
nade.
molly.
Go back, go back.
It's okay on nade.
Let's
Just
take B
smoke.
after this. Just smoke deep.
Close.
I'm falling
Close
back.
wall.
Leave you to
And
nade.
molly him.
Smoke deep. I pick wood.
Have mid and border.
Get him all
You
in.
have flash for B?
No, I don't
Yeah.
have. But I have 1 smoke only.
I give you.
Okay, ready? Flash lane when you want.
Wait. They moll it.
One guy's a
Flash,
kill.
flash, flash.
Flashing.
Pushing through.
Fuck down. Flash mid.
Close one more.
Okay, I'm good on B.
Mid dead. Nice. I'm going back.
They're not pushing on me.
Yeah.
I'm playing from dark.
Up mid. Up mid. I have long. Two stepped out mid, by the way.
Yeah, they...
When I would be. Save, just save.
Yeah, just save. It's okay.
Just save. I mean, there's nothing you can do. Yes, you did a lot of damage on the Koro, but going 2v3 with an op in play, not the easiest of tasks.
Not in the slightest. Things don't seem to have at the very least improved when we compare and contrast last week's matchup on Inferno. Obviously, they did make a really great effort to maintain control of that banana side, but the K-boys kind of just beat them to the punch a little bit faster. Clever usage of util had a couple of players. I think it was namely SBT and FNK that were kind of just stuck behind sandbags and in in like super uncomfortable positions, and then the K-boys just came in with the MAC-10s and easily cleaned things up over there. So they're going to hit 13 rounds. Sure, the Prodigies, they keep this AWP and this A1S intact, but you've realistically only got like 1 more mistake that you are allocated and allowed to make before the K-boys are inevitably going to hit map point and potentially 16 to close things off.
Definitely, you can't afford more than that. The momentum is on the Kazu boys. If we remove the first 3 rounds of this match, the score is 13-3.
Yeah.
It's a pretty deep thing, and it's reflecting on what happened so far. Zix needs to make some aggressive plays. I know that it's not easy, but at this point, you need those desperate plays.
Yeah. I mean, I technically have like my own opinions and my own reservations about going for, you know, those kinds of plays where you just simply have to risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes when you've got no other options, desperation could potentially be the one little needle in a haystack, that diamond in the rough that could get you out of a very sticky situation. The Prodigies, as things stand right now, sure, they've got themselves an AWP and an A1S to boot. Those are the 2 only hero rifles that they have available, but I see this as a potential for a bit of risk-taking. You put Zix down over towards Banana, couple that together with Straxy's A1S, and you might be able to get yourself 1 or 2 kills to lock down Banana and then also send those rifles back over towards your team. There are a lot of things that they can play with, and I'm assuming this is a tac pause that was called by the Prodigies.
Yeah.
They're definitely discussing how they go about this next upcoming round because it's a very important one.
And it's very logical to do that B play. Early round, if there's nothing on B, you can just leave. Zix can sit with the op on card, jump spot, have first contact, go back, drop him some util, and rotations will come in. And if you manage to get that banana control, you can just go stack that A side with 4 players, and maybe the first CT round will come. But starting things off, you got Zix and Banana. The one-way comes, but the molly is really, really good from Agent. He expected that, in case you noticed. The lineup for the molly was at the left, as left as it can get, because he knew it was coming.
So Zix is going to have to take up a secondary position, holding a very tight angle, and he's going to creep back over towards B. All the while, though, the K-Boys haven't really made a whole lot of effort towards this A side just yet. They're going to start flirting with a little bit of presence over towards that app side. I do think that it is Caro on the opposite side from alt mid now starting to progress upwards towards the hallway. Missed shots coming out from SBT, and that could prove detrimental. Straxy's going to follow it up. He cleans up 1, and he gets away with 12 HP, now 8 to his name.
He needs to drop that M4 to somebody more healthier than him. And that's going to be FNK. They have got the entry, 50 seconds on the clock on this 20th round, and SBT is going to re-aggress for that weapon. Even if there's no weapon, there's plenty of information for the Prodigy side, and they're already rotating their 3rd player onto B, a freebie onto Refrag by SBT. And Kazu Store Boys are hitting this B side.
Smokes are going to be dropped. Zix has an opportunity to get the first frag from Coffin, but it's FNK to actually just emerge from that smoke, find one for his troubles, and Zix is going to chime in and join in on the fun. There comes FNK as well to help clean things up, and suddenly what could have been a very, very bad situation has been converted into a super positive one, but the gap still remains at 6 rounds for the Prodigies.
Quite the gap, actually, but still, a really good round. Let's not forget, this was eco. If we're ruling out the op and the M4 from Straxy from the previous round, but economy building up, momentum also. Let's not forget, this was a flawless round, 5 players alive, and aggressive play on apps worked. So keep it up. Definitely try to get Banana again. Don't let the K-Boys be really comfortable at every part of the map. We saw the whiff on Boiler, but it was a really good thing that Straxy was there as well with the M4.
Yeah, as well. And after he took up a boatload of damage, I think he was down all the way to like 7 or 8 HP. He tossed over that A1S over to FNK, and he immediately takes it back over towards B. And that was probably the most defining factor as to why the Prodigies were able to hold on to B so successfully. Also in tandem with Zix's AWP in the very, very last round, and now they're going to be fully stacked up. Couple of saved AKs, that one odd A1S, but a dual op setup coming out. FNK might have got himself just a wee bit greedy in this instance, and he's actually sent Zix all the way back over towards A, but still it's FNK to find the first shed of blood. Nolan's going to chime in as well, but that Molotov is going to keep them from falling back into the bomb site, and the K-Boys not exactly willing to pass through that smoke.
Oh, there's one player on short, Derpy. He has good timing, but I think Zix noticed he's going to get the headshot onto Strax. He knows where the second player is, but he can't cross quite yet. But still, a trade for the Kazu Store Boys side. They have an idea what's going on.
Derpy.
Long. Goes down by SBT. Really important kill.
Yeah, Counter-Strafe wasn't really on point, sadly, for Derpy. Kind of just whiffed a couple of shots, and they all just went awry.
Unlucky.
Effective 2v2 that they have to deal with on this B side. CT smoke tossed on through, and FNK doesn't really have a say in the matter with that smoke directly in front of him. He can blindly spray on through, And Nolan, no nades to toss on through and potentially pick up a free kill on Takara, who is on minimal HP. Does seem as if they're going to get this bomb down entirely for free, but that's about where the buck potentially stops right here. They won't accomplish more than that. Cass does, at the very least, give them a fighting shot, but Zix is immediately going to shut it down instead. Karo on minimal HP finds that of SBT, and a sigh of relief being drawn by the Prodigies. A 4v2 converted into a 2v none right there, but a win is still a win.
It definitely is, and at this point, you get everything that you can get. Even if it's a 1v1, you get it. Double off setup, it worked. FNK got the first one on Banana. We mentioned those desperate times, and I think one of those plays is going to be the double op. If I'm not mistaken, we saw FNK last time on the secondary op, so it's really important. Now you have two snipers at both sides.
And if I remember correctly, last week we only saw the double op setup, I think, used for just a single round, and it went horribly wrong, and they decided to also just drop it immediately afterwards and not really tango with it again. Now, after seeing a bit of success, you're obviously kind of stuck holding into that AWP until you obviously lose the round and don't have to reinvest into it. But the A1S, the good old reliable, still finds two, but oof, those two B anchors being cleared out doesn't bode all too well, an even 3v3 situation, but the Prodigies are going to have to storm the beaches to get this retake done.
It's not going to be easy at all. We got Derpy and Cass looking for that one way. Derpy is going to be the first point of contact. Oh no, 6 down to 18. It just became harder. Carvo with a Mac 10 looking for contact. Derpy is going to tune in with that. AK gets the first and the second onto SBT. 6. There's no retake for you, my friend. Yes, you have money for the next round, but it's not worth to throw equipment worth almost $7K for that first stage loss bonus.
Not in the slightest. He's going to keep that AWP intact for the next upcoming round and the kit and everything else right over there. But man, I do really got a feel for Nolan as well, because he was actually pulling up so much of the Prodigy's weight on that initial engagement towards Banana, finding himself 2 kills right there. And obviously the mag, not exactly as sizable as it used to be, being limited only to 20 shots, definitely did mean the difference in that engagement right there. It meant the difference between a 2-piece and a 3-piece, but it wasn't just the fact that he was able to get himself 2 kills. It was the fact that he actually lost out on his only bit of help, which was FNK first before going down himself. If FNK wouldn't have actually gone down in that instance, then yeah, sure, Nolan's going to be traded off, but they lost the B bomb site because of the fact that FNK went down first and Nolan ran out of ammo immediately afterwards.
Okay, Straxy starting out in this Banana control. The Prodigies,
I like it.
they want to fight. They're here to fight. Ooh, missed shot by 6. There's no one behind him to help him out. The trade is there for the Kazu Store Boys, and they're going to run down on this A side. SBT, the sole anchor with the M4, going to get the first one, and the headshot with the Derpy. There we go. Finally something from the Prodigies.
Man, I was starting to shiver in my boots just a little bit the moment that I saw Zix go down with absolutely no assistance. If he would have found that first shot, entirely different story, but at the very least, damn. What a turnaround coming out from SBT to just hold down the line and keep all of those T's emerging from apps under a leash right there. And I think that the Prodigies are getting a bit too curious right here, but they're not going to stumble into Karo's crosshairs just yet. He's going to play this one very patiently, but both him and Kazu know that they've got to get a move on at some certain point, because right now it is just a classic Mexican standoff, and it's Karo to emerge first, then it's SBT that's got his number. A1S and the barrel of the AWP spotted out means that FNK is going to close things up, but what a round for SBT to really come alive in right there.
Well played. They definitely need these hero plays. I think at some point at the first half you mentioned, you need someone to just step up and win those couple of rounds to get the momentum going. And we see a couple of rounds, Nolan, Zix with the op, FNK, and SBT on this one. Really important because the economy is broken for the K-Boy side. 9 rounds, they're building up.
Exactly. And if it wasn't for the fact that Karo is absolutely broke without a single cent to his name, I'm pretty sure that the K-Boys, they probably would have forced out in this round right here. Even though it would have been like super duper wonky, you can still make a singular deagle work surrounded by SMGs and that kind of stuff. But we do see a couple of deagles as well as a Tech 9 on the K-Boys' side, and this is one of the scariest situations that you can be if you're in the Prodigies, because when you're going up against a semi-force buy with upgraded pistols on the K-Boys, and you know they got 14 rounds to their name, and they're going to play as if they have absolutely nothing to lose, right? And if the K-Boys just decide to throw caution to the wind and go absolutely ham with pistols, a potential eco win also means a 15th round. So the Prodigies have got to play this extra carefully.
Okay, that's a great start.
It is.
Okay, with the kill on the cast. A monstrous performance on the first half for those who's tuning in. Has gotten to slow down a bit, and obviously on T side things are different for the sniper. But I see stability from the Prodigy side. I think something that we didn't see in the first half. Let's see Nolan with the M4, 20 bullets again. Ooh, not good timing, but he's gonna get 2, and Nolan goes down with FNK. That bomb is going to go down at least for the Kazu store boys, but numbers on the Prodigy side, 3 versus 2 on this retake.
Yeah, this is really rough. We're seeing an exact repeat of what happened in the very previous round. Nolan being able to pick up a 2-piece, but him and FNK both going down at the very least with the weapon advantage on their side, and Rafix being the last player alive, dancing and prancing around the coffins. He goes down, and Straxy is able to punish him for his previous crimes right there. The Prodigies, they do finally join up in the double digits club as they do hit 10, but these last couple of rounds have not been comfortable by any stretch of the imagination. We saw the exact same cause of events happen twice in a row. Like I said, Nolan picks up a 2-piece, he goes down, and so does his only assistant, FNK. That trend has got to stop at some certain point.
It definitely has, but let's see how the comms have developed for the Prodigy side.
Vix, you need Mollywood?
You want Mollywood?
No, it's fine.
Keep your smoke, Sophie. Keep your smoke.
Yeah.
I need it.
Flash.
Second mid.
I don't see anyone. One pit.
Epsilon, I'm leaving.
White.
Yeah, dude. He's close.
I take long.
They smoke long.
I'm only close.
I have long there.
If you want, you can leave me. I don't know. I have smoke in hand.
I think
We have
he's
banana
close.
or no, guys?
No.
Okay.
Not
Come
gonna
close
leave
long,
you,
Nolan. Come close long, Nolan. We
Can
don't
you
take
smoke
drop me
ups?
the molly?
Yeah, smoke ups.
Let's
We will
go.
flash. Flash short for me.
I will do retake nades, you can hold him, okay?
Solid.
Okay, flash.
Flash in there.
Nothing boiler.
No mid, no mid.
Oh, I missed.
I'm
Go
anti-flash
back.
for Apps. Swap.
I'm playing double pit now. They think we are.
Double
He
it.
doubled it.
I'm playing Jesus and fast rotation. I have 2
I have no
flashes.
smoke now. I'm
You
gonna
got long, Nolan?
Okay, nice.
Yes.
You can
Okay,
play
so long.
like
Extend.
this.
Deep long smoke.
Okay, they
Maybe
took
they
long.
go in it.
They took mid, I mean.
Can you flash long? Straxy?
I don't have.
Do it.
Wait. Flashing in
Another
there.
one.
Didn't push through.
Smoked car.
But did
I'm
this
playing
smoke?
yellow.
I don't know. I think it's one way for him to jump up.
I'm
Yes, they
gonna
take
go
mid
on.
together and slow.
Yeah, I'm just nading one.
Close. Long pushing.
I'm not with you right now. Far behind.
Tapped is burning. Cross line.
Cross.
Finish.
Cross library.
Bomb.
Finish.
Close mid.
Cross. It left.
Apps out.
Bomb is on short.
Yes. They have it now.
Well,
They have okay. it tight.
One is off HP.
Wait, I'm gonna drop you the smoke.
Okay.
I can throw the smoke if you want.
Don't seem close.
He's 1 HP. One. Only one.
I'll take rifle.
I will do
Close.
smoke in front of here.
Tight. On side. I'm on the pit.
I'm gonna go left side, okay?
I'm on the pit still.
Default. By default one.
I'll go
Go
jump to the
together,
box now.
guys. You have to go. You have to go. Nice
Nice.
loaded.
Side. In the corner. I think you have it. No.
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 It was my bad.
Heartbreaking. Truly heartbreaking. 1 more second is all he needed for that defuse, but it's not going to happen. Match point for the K-Boys.
I think they had probably about like half a second left on that defuse timer, because we've obviously got the overlay with the exact number that shows us how long the defuse
Yeah.
needs. And the moment that FNK finally got that kit on the bomb, I think the 5 literally just turned into a 4 right over there. It was like super duper close, but yeah, he would have needed at least a fraction of a second extra. But now the Prodigies, their backs are fully against the walls. They've got SMGs to work with and one lowly A1S. And we will have the K-Boys trade things back, keeping it into an even 4v4.
The op is still present at 6, but we haven't seen much from him, to be honest. And maybe that defensive A op is not going to always work out. We haven't seen Prodigies play aggressively on Ash. We saw that 1 round versus 6 was alone, and that didn't pan out well for them. But as a team, like, let's say for example that K-Boy round, but no. We take utility on banana, and they're both on log. They're going to split left and right, but only Nolan is fighting, mismanaging situations here for the Prodigies. 3 versus 4. Carvo is still sniffling. FNK with MP9. He's going to win that duel, but he gets traded immediately by Refrag. It's all down to SVT 1 versus 3 to keep the Prodigies alive on this 4th match. Already has information about 1.
Didn't quite catch a glimpse of Cass rotating on over, but he definitely heard the sounds, and sadly all of his efforts, they are going to amount to absolutely nothing because they turn at just the right moment to shut him down on the on the banana rotate right there. And sadly enough, that is the first loss on the Prodigies. What used to have been a clean sheet, what could have potentially been 4 back-to-back wins, suddenly has a little bit of red sprinkled on it. 1 loss on Inferno. Not exactly what we would have wanted to see this evening, but still, I think just this overall this evening goes to show that, well, the Prodigies have a little bit of room to work for and just a couple of extra things to work on in Inferno, but more importantly, just goes to show that the K-Boys, absolutely no slouches, and they just played an absolutely ridiculous Inferno this evening.
I mean, the CD side, hats off to them. No respect whatsoever. At some point, I mentioned if we remove the first 3 rounds, it was total domination from the K-Boy side. Really well played. Cass on that off was really amazing, and the whole team was performing always, well, not always, but most of the time winning those banana duels. At some point, we saw the Prodigies coming back and hitting hard and getting those needed trades, but late. It was just late. Unlucky.
It was just super duper late, and the fact that they weren't able to get themselves that, well, technically that second pistol round, I think that was more so the most solidifying factor that played into tonight's loss as well, because obviously, you know, we talk about the importance of pistol rounds. We can basically have like an entire PowerPoint presentation that lasts an hour on why winning your pistols is so gosh darn important, but in that instance as well, when you've lost the first half and you're staring down the barrel of a 9-6 split, and then suddenly all that really stands between your opponents and them hitting that 10th round and then starting to actually get their eco engine running a little bit faster than yours is literally just 5 kills in the pistol round. That is what the K-Boys were able to accomplish, and it just gave them such a distinct head start in that second half that is really, really tough to match.
Of course, and let's not forget, they lost the pistol, and the second force buy did not go their way, so it's hard to come back from that. But we got an interview lined up. This time we're going to be having Nolan. I like the diversity. We're not having the same player over and again. Hello, Nolan. How you doing?
Hello, guys. I'm good, guys. Thank you so much.
Glad to hear it. Well, tonight didn't exactly go according to plan. I would definitely say that the performance that you put up last week on Inferno did go a little bit better, even though that was an OT. First things first, obviously, there were a couple of things that really, really went wrong, but do you guys feel as if there were too many mistakes made tonight, or if the K-Boys side just played a much better game of CS? At the very least, that's how it felt like from our point of view, because, well, Cass, for example, on his CT side at op was just absolutely insane on the opposition's side.
Yeah, today they were definitely the better team, I think. We made a lot of mistakes, and I think we were scared to pick them, and we were scared to do our stuff like we did before. I think that's the main reason why we struggle to take many rounds. And also, nowadays it's I think because of lack of practice, since we played with a stand-in.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's the main reasons.
And on the subject of the stand-in, because obviously the last time that myself and Pinkman actually saw you guys last week, we had Mertz up on the lineup, and he was able to constantly, you know, deliver a lot of really, really gorgeous entries on your T half as well on Inferno. How has the addition of Zix, if I'm not mistaken, he comes from 7 a.m. because I did see the 7 a.m. jersey over there, at the very least on some of the pictures. But how have you guys been sort of like introducing him into the roster, and do you feel like he's done a really, really good job of meshing together with the rest of the squad? Do you think the chemistry is where it needs to be, or if it still needs a little bit of extra work to properly get Zix up to speed?
So that was his second game with us, actually. He played really good on both maps, but I think we just need more time and more practice to win those type of games like we played today.
I have a question. If Tudor has finished, I'm going to talk about Inferno. Last time we saw Inferno, 1917 win, yes, but it was not really convincing. This time around, tough loss. So my question is, next time, are you guys going to try to actually get Inferno against Krasavi I got here, or are you going to sit tight, experiment on another map, and then come back to Inferno?
We'll see. We'll see. I think, but their first ban is Inferno, if I know correctly. So it won't be Inferno. But we'll see how it goes. We try to play Mirage maybe against them, but we'll see.
Well, Mirage looked hot for you guys last time, and that's where we saw Zix shining with a 30 bomb, 20 of them op kills. But you made a great point there that you were kind of scared to take those duels. So next time, just unleash them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the last question that I technically have before we do sadly have to wave goodbye to you, Nolan, is well, I do kind of want to draw things back to which one of the moments was it? I think my brain is already starting to fail and my memory has decided to take a fat L. I can't remember. There was like one really specific I think it must have actually been in the secondary pistol round as well, or it might have actually been the first. Yeah, I think it was definitely the first pistol round as well, where we had, I think it was not, I need to pull up the name, one of the K-Boys players. It was definitely Kazu, or it was definitely Agent. He was like doing his best impersonation of Lara Croft with the dualies, and he just farmed you guys over towards the B bomb sites. Yeah, it was definitely Cass. He got himself a triple kill right over there, and then suddenly it was like a 5v2 scenario. And I know like opening rounds, pistol rounds, you don't really put a lot of emphasis on them. But myself and Penguin were just talking about the importance of pistol rounds as well in general before we had you join up for the interview. But like sort of those moments where you've got somebody that is going absolutely ham with dualies, and then suddenly you have to claw back and try to convert it back into a 2v2, which you guys did, and you were like inches away in the 1v1 from being able to close it off. Like, speak at the very least, like try to shed on a little bit of light as to how you guys as a squad deal with that level of chaos that other teams might just be throwing into the server when things are so out of control. How do you guys bring things back to reality and try to regain control of the situation?
Oh, that was a long question. So basically, if we have like a 4v4 or 3v3 or something, basically we just call freeze, and we just stop, we just start holding, we chill, and basically that's it. That's only it,
Okay.
I think.
Long, super long question for super short answer. It's like when you wait an hour for a bus ride and then you only need to go like 2 stops and it's like 5 minutes or something. But I actually do really like that. It's not often that I hear about a lot of teams when, you know, shit hits the fan in such a bad manner that you literally just have to take your mouse or your hands off the keyboard and mouse and just take a breather to deal with that situation. I really like that. That is something that you guys, well, it sounds like you guys do it really often and you practice it almost every single time just to, you know, calm yourselves down and regain control of the situation. So props to you guys for that one.
Thank you.
But yeah, that does sadly mean that we will have to wave goodbye to you, and obviously commiserations for this evening's matchup, but we have full faith that you guys will be able to come back in a proper fighting form, well, relatively soon actually, because if I'm not mistaken, the next matchup that you guys actually have lined up is towards the end of the week on the 7th of November as well. So we'll definitely be looking forward to seeing you guys once again back in fighting form and to see exactly how you guys perform. Nolan, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for joining us.
Thank
and
you so
letting
much,
us pick
guys.
allowing us to pick your brain a little bit. It's been a pleasure, mate.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much. See ya.
Take care. And that does it. Well, it's been quite the evening. Unfortunate that the Prodigies weren't able to pick up and maintain that flawless win streak so far, but one loss isn't exactly the end of the world.
I mean, to be honest, I think this loss was a good lesson for them. We heard from Nolan himself that they were a little bit scared, so maybe regain that confidence and hit him back hard next time. They're going to obviously review their demo of what happened, and they're going to see that, hey, maybe we should just roll up our game. Yes, we can expect what they're doing, but at some point, you just have to hit with your game plan and just shove it down their throats. I think we have the statistics for the MVP of this match, and it's going to be coming on very soon. Oh, there we go. 19
Let's
kills,
see.
4 assists, 20 deaths. The ADR is quite good. FNK, the in-game leader, stepping up. We saw him with that double off setup. That actually was where the Prodigies got those streak of rounds.
Yeah, and despite the fact that I didn't really think to myself initially, like, from all of the players on the Prodigy side, that it would have been FNK to usually pick up that secondary op role, but for the 2 rounds of play that we did actually see it in played, worked out surprisingly well, especially the first time around, with FNK being able to get things started off, finding the opening pick right there, and then the team just chiming in bit by bit. And obviously, the way that I sort of see the Prodigy's double off setup is you got FNK literally hunting and getting right up in the face of the opposition, looking for that entry, and that's basically, if he gets that done, then that is your primary goal already accomplished, and he can just chill relatively laid back with the second op.
True. We saw Zix on A, and FNK is definitely going to come back stronger. We can see the full stats of the match right now, how everybody performed, but we know kills are not everything still. It was not easy. I mean, we saw it with the X-ray and everything, but the K-Boys really played well. Hats off to them. Cass on the leaderboard, 25 on him. I think 18 of those are on the CT side. Great impact with the op. 6 did not actually have that much opportunity, maybe, to shine on that B side, because most of the time he was the opera on A and playing passive.
Yeah.
We know how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that Mertz also had to struggle with last week, being stationed over towards A more often than we would have liked to see, especially when there was just a lot more emphasis placed over towards that B side. And especially when it comes to the K-Boys' take on how T-side Inferno has to be played, there was like a very, very healthy variety in where they were sending the majority of their stack. They were constantly fluctuating and going back and forth between A and B on a round-to-round basis, and it just really kept the Prodigies on their toes, and it kept them guessing and thinking about how things are going to play out in one specific round almost every single moment of tonight's matchup.
Definitely. I mean, one thing that I would like to add is on the first half, I don't think we saw any timeouts from the Prodigy side. And at some point, I felt like they really needed one, because the rounds were so close yet so far. They couldn't just grasp. I mean, at that point, they only needed like one of those rounds to break the economy and finally get that stability after that 3-0 great start that they had. But it did not happen.
Nah. So, unfortunately, they will have to, well, revisit that T side. Obviously, I think it was about as great as it could have actually gotten, because the K-Boys, they just played an absolutely miraculous CT side. Even though the score line was 9-6, it wasn't necessarily like the biggest steamroll that we have ever seen from a T side in Inferno's history. The score line for that first half was still relatively close, relatively competitive as well, but that second half was just basically a gut punch that the K-Boys were able to deal out. Sure, we had a tiny win streak on the Prodigy side, but tiny CT win streaks, they don't exactly translate to success more than half of the time. So that is where the majority of the learning comes from, at the very least in tonight's case.
Definitely. I mean, the streaks came, but at that point it was like 13-6. But let's see the upcoming matches that we have on this 43rd season of ESEA main.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good score, 3-1. A good lesson, like I mentioned. Inferno, a lot of work to be done, and that's good because they can reflect on their mistakes and how they can better their game. The next match is going to be against Krasavi, and I asked Nolan on the interview, are we going to see Inferno? And he said that that's their main insta-ban. They don't want to play Inferno.
Yeah. I mean, you played it twice so far. Respectable results technically coming out of both performances, but at the end of the day, it is still one of the most even maps that you can still just touch within the game to this day right over here. So you're obviously going to have mixed results on it, the same way that the K-Boys did moving into today's matchup. They'd already played Inferno twice. They had 1 win, 1 loss, and now it's up to 2 wins after playing it a total of 3 times as well. So obviously there's still a plethora of different choices for the Prodigies and how they want to handle their map pool moving forward, but there's just tons of really, really creative things that they can do. I personally really want to see them go over towards Nuke, because I don't think I've casted the Prodigies once on Nuke so far, my time here at the very least, and it is my favorite map as well, but I can remain hopeful.
Yeah, I mean, there will be plenty of matches. But with that being said, unfortunately, we have to close out. Let's not forget to thank our beautiful sponsors, Razer, Refrag, and Scope GG. Tudor, it was a pleasure. Thank you to everybody doing the buttons, like you said last time. I love your vocab. I always mentioned it. It was a pleasure for me. And anything else if you have to add to close this out.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks again to every single one of you guys that were able to come out to tune in. Thank you so much to Firmex for, as you said, pushing the buttons behind the scenes, and everyone else that is working from Pewpew to help bring all of these shows to reality. We will see you guys back relatively shortly on the 7th of November later this week for the next upcoming matchup on the Prodigy side. But for now, we'd like to thank you guys once again so much for tuning in, and we will catch you guys on the flip side. Take care.